All right, so let's continue with these sigma notation summations. Okay, there's a low hum in the background, so I apologize for that, but somebody is mowing their lawn at 8 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so one of the nice tricks is, let's suppose that you are asked to expand the summation and find out the partial sum, and you don't have a calculator, and you have a lot of terms to add. So like here, for instance, my lower bound, my start, is at 4, and my upper bound is at 19. So I have to plug all the integers from 4 to 19 into this formula and add them up. Well, if you can notice that maybe the formula is arithmetic or geometric, then you can bypass all that and use the partial sum formula that you already know from before. So I'll just show you. Okay, if I start with 4 and then 5 and then 6 and so on, if I do 4, it's 16 plus 3, that's 19. And if I do 4 times 5 plus 3, that's 23. And if I do 4 times 6 plus 3, that's 27. So notice this is arithmetic. And our common difference is 4. So since it's arithmetic, I can use that partial sum formula. But here's the tricky part, okay? So the partial sum formula goes like this for an arithmetic sequence. Oops, that's supposed to be an n. Let me fix that. So I need to know how many terms I have. Well, if you're like, well, I just subtract 19 and 4 and that's it, it's 15 terms. That is incorrect. And let me just show you why. Let's suppose I have a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5. I have 5 terms, right? But if I said, if my summation was to start at 1 and end at 5, you might be misled and just do 5 minus 1 and say, oh, there's 4. No, it's 5 minus 1 plus 1. Okay? So there's actually 5 terms here, not 4. You have to add that extra 1. So let's do that. Okay. And then I'm going to find my first term and my last term. So here's me figuring out how many terms there are. My lower bound, this is my end, this is my start. I subtract them and that's 15, but there aren't 15 terms. I have to add 1 because one of them gets left off when you subtract. And that ends up being 16 over 2. So you end up with 16 over 2, and 19 plus 79, that's 98, and this is 8 times 98. Okay, 8 times 8 is 64, carry the 6, 9 times 8 is 72, plus 6, 784. Okay, here's another one. So in this scenario, you're not given the summation. You're asked now to go in the opposite direction and rewrite it using sigma notation. So this sequence is finite, meaning that there's a set number of terms. So first thing you want to do, make sure, see if it's arithmetic, see if it's geometric. So right now, to go from 3 to 6, I add 3. Well, do I add 3 to go from 6 to 9? Yes. Do I add 3 to go from 9 to 12? Yes. So it's arithmetic, and your common difference is 3. So the cool thing about this is that you literally, in the summation formula, just write the explicit formula. So this is how you get your explicit formula. Right? And that's what we want in our summation so that we can write each term. So if a sub n is 3 plus n minus 1 times 3, then my general formula to get any term is 3n. And now all I have to do is put it in the formula and set my upper and lower bounds. So there's the formula, there's my explicit formula. Okay. And I start at 1, because if I do 3 times 1, I get the first term right here. And if I do 3 times 4, I get the last term, 12. And you're done with that one. All right, let's move on. So again, I have a finite sequence and they want you to write it using sigma notation. So first, I check to see if it's arithmetic. Well, to go from 16 down to 8, I'd have to subtract 8. but then if I subtract 8 from 8, I don't get 4. So it's not arithmetic. Okay, let's see if it's geometric. So to go from 16 to 8, I'd have to divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2. Does the same thing happen? If I do 8 times 1/2 or 8 divided by 2, do I get 4? Yes. Okay. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2? Yes. 2 divided by 2 is 1? Yes. So this is geometric. And just like with the arithmetic one, you're going to write your explicit formula in that summation. So our common ratio is 1/2. And there's our explicit formula. Okay. And we want to leave n in there. So we put in our first term 16 and then 1/2 to the n minus 1. And then I just set my upper and lower bounds, put that lovely formula, put this in here inside the sigma. And my lower bound, n equals 1, because that's for my first term, and just check it to make sure it works. So if I do 1/2 to the 1 minus 1, that's 1/2 to the 0, which is 1. 16 times 1 is 16, so that works. And remember, I have to go up to 5 terms. And if I plug in 5, I get 1/2 to the 4th, which ends up being 1/16, and 1/16 times 16 is 1, so it works.